Okay, at this point in time, we're going to be logging in to at least 2 of the social media accounts, spending some time on there, possibly taking a break or something, and depending on how the timing works out, and then coming back and doing the 3rd one. And again, we're going to be focusing on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And I've logged into all 3 of those in different tabs, and I want to walk you through each one of those and give you a chance to see how I use it and how I recommend you use it, and if you have any questions about each one. So here's our first one up here right now. I've logged into my Twitter account, and what you see here is my home page on Twitter. And I believe in the first half hour I talked about how all Twitter is like a series of text messages. Well, that's what this is right here. It's just a series of 140-character text messages telling you who it's from, how long ago it was displayed, and their picture. And you have control over all of this in social media. You can make your picture, I have no idea what that picture is, you can make it big giant text like that, or you can make it a little headshot like that. People do some amazing things with their pictures. On your Twitter account, over here in the upper left-hand corner, you have your own picture. Every Twitter account has a user ID, and they all are prefaced with an @ sign. That's the universal sign for this is a Twitter account. A lot of times you'll see on people's business cards now, they'll put the social media accounts on a business card, and they'll just put @Patrick Allman with like a little bird next to it. You know, that's that person's Twitter account. And even on Facebook now, I believe if you want to reference somebody else's name, you can put like and their name, and like their name auto-populates. So you have a user ID on Twitter. Mine is @Patrick Allman. 60,000 tweets, which means since the day I created my account, I've done 60,000 updates. That's a lot of updates. Now you'd think I'd spend all my time on Twitter, but I'm going to confess that a lot of what I do on my Twitter account is also set up ahead of time and automated. So there are multiple schools of thought on that. Some people believe that you shouldn't automate anything. I believe that I have a life outside of Twitter, so I'm a big fan of automation. And there's another really great reason I'll show you for automation later. And automation, all that means is I've just predefined stuff to go out. So while we were in this class and 4-hour sessions, I probably have 4 or 5 different tweets going out. And people think, oh, Patrick's on top of that. He's on his Twitter account 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, now you know when you see a tweet come out from me at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's some automation going on there. And I have no problem with the automation. That's just my philosophy in doing it. Following how many people who I am paying attention to and how many people are paying attention to me. And to tell you the truth, that's your 5-minute Twitter lesson right there. Now we're going to go into a little bit more detail, but that's really the summary of Twitter. Twitter is really simple. You're seeing a series of messages from people. As a business, you want your number of followers to go up. And personally or business-wise, you can just choose to follow what other people are doing. Like your competitors, for example. It's not a bad idea as a business to be following your competitors. I am also a big fan on Twitter of using lists to follow lists of people to see what they're doing. And right here, these are just people that are either on Twitter right now or they pre-scheduled their stuff. And Twitter is so dynamic that even as I brought up this screen right here, you can see that while I've been sitting here, out of the 16.4 thousand people I follow, there's been 418 new tweets.
How do you read all that?
I don't. I pick and choose. So I could click on that, and hopefully the browser will do its thing. Come on. Well, I did click on it. We'll just assume it's going to. Twitter.com is not responding. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't read all of them. I have just different ways I filter the information on social media. At some point in time, over my years and years of a Twitter account, I've probably, at one point in time, someone said something interesting and I follow them, and I never unfollow them. But I have to admit, I don't pay attention to what 16,000 people are saying. I have trouble paying attention to what 5 people are saying sometimes. And in the real world, I guarantee you I'm not paying attention to what 16,000 strangers are saying. So although the numbers are big, don't worry, I'm not, okay, see what we've been talking? 20 more. That's Twitter. It's dynamic. It's always going, always going, always going. Okay?
Can you read German?
Huh?
Can you read German?
Can I read German? Is there one German up here? Dachrum, Dacha? No, but what I would do in this case, if I thought that might be something from someone interesting, I would copy that, take it over to translate.google.com and translate it in English. Then I would type up something in English, translate it to German, and reply back to her. I kid you, this is a quick sidebar. I've used the internet to have conversations in foreign languages without even using the foreign language, thanks to translate.google.com. Huh?
I use Babbelfish.
Babbelfish, same thing? You were going to say? I'm sorry? Babbelfish, okay. Yeah. And the translations aren't that bad. I mean, they're literal translations where the language usually has like a specialized dialect or a special way you would say something. But yeah, I've had conversations with people in German before. So yeah, at some point in time, this person either posted a picture or said something interesting or posted a link I thought was interesting, and then I followed it. But to tell you the truth, in this particular case, I'm not following that person. I'm following this person called Vester71, and Vester71 did what's called a retweet. And a retweet is just a reshare of somebody else's update. So these are some of the Twitter terms you're learning today. A tweet is you are updating something, just like you send a text message. If Victoria was to send me a text message, that'd be like the equivalent of a tweet. If I then take Victoria's text message and I retext it to my entire phone book, that's a retweet, just like a reshare. I could have shared a really good video about my industry, and I want to reshare that, or I could have watched a really good video and I want to reshare that with my friends. I would do what's called a retweet. Over here, Twitter gives me some suggestions as to things I should follow based on my interests. And down here on the left-hand side, if Twitter will scroll, these are called trends. These are what Twitter thinks people are talking about right now, based on the popularity of the words. We have Star Wars homies. I have no idea why. And various other things. I'm not surprised about spring break. I don't know what's going on with Oklahoma and Texas, where people are talking about those right now for some reason. Happy Hump Day. It's Camel Day. What day is it? Budget 2014. There must be something going on there. I'm not quite sure what it is. This one right here, oh, okay, this makes sense. If I was to investigate this one here, promoted means somebody paid for that to appear in that list right there. That's how you do some advertising on Twitter right there. Is you can pay to have a particular word or a particular phrase, or in this case with the pound sign in front of it, it's called a hashtag. You can pay to have that appear at the top of this list here, because hopefully people will say, huh, what is that? And they click on that and they go read all the conversations about that. There's not a lot of really targeted advertising you can do on Twitter, and this is one of the ways you can do it. You can kind of basically pay attention to what people are saying, because a lot of times what happens with the press is the press comes here to see what people are talking about in the media or in the world, and the press will come over here and they'll say, what's going on in the world? Oh, I wonder what this is. And they might do a story on that particular word. Maybe, I don't know what's going on with Star Wars. I think I've seen a lot of buzz about Episode 7 coming out, which is, 30 years after Episode 6? For anyone, any Star Wars fans here? Yeah. So we had the middle three, then we have the first three, and they're getting ready to start doing the last three. And I believe Episode 7 begins 30 years after Episode 6, is where that is. So we're going to start seeing a lot of Star Wars talk on social media, probably previews, tweets, videos, things like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going here with Star Wars promotions. Nowadays, before you ever even make a movie, you can start hopping on social media and promoting it. Leaking stuff, putting out rumors, all that stuff counts as marketing and advertising. Here in the middle, if it's a recent time, I'll just say 5 minutes versus the exact time. A lot of time what you'll see on social media is people create accounts under their name, like Ravi right here or Jessica right here. And then a lot of times you'll see people just create under their brand name also. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like an @Devon or @Chesapeake or things like that. You can create a Twitter account for whatever you want to market, and people get really creative. I know, for example, that Chesapeake has a main Twitter account, but Chesapeake also does drilling in different regions of the country, and they have Twitter accounts for each region. So if I live in that region, I may not care about nationally what Twitter says, Chesapeake says, but I care about what Chesapeake is saying in my region. Okay? If you're a big company that has different divisions like that, you can set up different Twitter accounts. Sometimes people also set up Twitter accounts for particular products. Anyone here a big fan of Rococo, the Italian restaurant? Pottery? Rococo. Oh, this is Rococo. It's an Italian restaurant, really good stuff. The original one's on 28th and Penn, and the other one's in the mall up here at, thank you, North Park Mall, 122nd and May. Really good Italian restaurant owned by a friend of mine named Bruce. One of the more famous things at Rococo is the crab cake. It's not a cheap crab cake. If you're a crab person, it's a very good crab cake. That crab cake has a Twitter account. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there might be a lobster at Rococo that has a Twitter account also. So who's ever doing the marketing and advertising, just getting a little bit creative. The tornado sirens, someone created a Twitter account for the tornado sirens that we have on Saturday mornings. The Twitter account does nothing. On Saturday morning at noon, the Twitter account goes, woo, 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 woo. That's all it does. That's all it does. People also create Twitter accounts to parody other people. You know, like I am not Barack Obama, or this is not ESPN, things like that. So personally, I have a Twitter account for me, Patrick Almond, and I've created a Twitter account for each of my businesses, and then depending on who I'm working with, I might create a Twitter account for them. But to me, this is not one of the first things I do on social media, just because it's a lot of work with little return. You know, you're constantly have to be on here updating things, pushing things out, and they go by very fast. You know, I follow 16,000 people, but even if I followed 100 people or 500 people, I would have a constant stream of updates all the time. So you, in my opinion, you don't get a lot of ROI out of your Twitter account. I still do it, and I schedule stuff, and I automate things, but personally, I don't spend a lot of time with my eyes directly on Twitter. I'm all about ROI, and in my opinion, I like to get value out of every minute and out of every day, out of every hour. Right here, I've showed you what my Twitter account looks like, what I view from my Twitter account. I'm going to hop over here now and show you, we're at the home here, under notifications. I'm going to show you what people see that I am doing, what am I saying on social media. Because remember, I automate a lot of my stuff. So this is what's happened to my account today. I've had 5 new people follow me. So you get notifications when people follow you. I don't believe you get notifications when people unfollow you, only when they follow you. I have an ego like everybody else. I like more followers. What can I say? We've all got egos. Right here, what this is right here is somebody has shared something. I'm sorry, the mouse is in the way. Somebody has shared something and mentioned my name. I do a podcast weekly on Thursdays, and I shared it out a while back. Well, this guy follows me, and he shared it out also. So he basically shared an update an hour ago, and he mentioned my name, so I'm going to see it. Okay? Right here, I shared an update about 5 hours ago. The time is, we're going on 10? Is that right? So I shared an update maybe, what, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning? Because you know I was up, right? And I see that from the 5 hours right here. This person liked it, and they favorited it. It's almost like you can bookmark certain tweets because you like them, because you want to go back and read them later, or because you thought they were really cool, or that person was really smart, I hope. So these 2 people right here, the Shave Shop, which I actually believe that might be the Shave Shop over in Class and Curve. There's a nice, for men that like to get like single blade or straight edge blades cuts, there's a Shave Shop over there. That might be their account right there. So 2 people thought whatever I said right here, along with a link back to where? Back to my website. That was hour 1, remember that. They thought that was really good. So either they read that and they want to remember that and read it again later, or they thought, that seems like a good topic, I want to read that later. So they marked it as a favorite. Again, right here, I shared this, people scale the separation from the pack. She saw it and she reshared it to this person right here. So Lori Sparger, her and her dark sunglasses, thought whatever I said was good and decided it was good enough that she wanted to share it and reshare it to that person right there. And this one right here is, again, there was a retweet up here. we were talking about retweets from the previous screen. That same tweet right here was good enough that these 5 other people shared it with their audience. This was automation here. And by automation, what I mean is, I checked this out this morning because I know I was going to be talking to you guys about this. This links to a blog post on my website that I wrote back in 2007. I'm a big fan of repropagating and resharing old content on social media because it's always new to somebody. It's very likely that these 5 people had never seen that blog post before. I'm sick of it. I wrote it back in 2007. I already know what it says. But these 5 people thought it was good enough that they wanted their followers to see it. Before I came to class, I added up the followers that and that person have. It's 23,000 people. So now a blog post I wrote back in 2007, which is brand new to these 5 people, has been reshared, and hopefully some of their 23,000 combined friends will see it. You hear about things going viral on social media? So imagine that times 100 or times 1,000. Imagine, let's say my name was Ellen. I was a short blonde lady, had my own talk show. I went to what, the Grammys or the Emmys, and I took a selfie with me and Kevin Spacey and who else was back there? Jennifer Lawrence, all these other people. And I pumped it out to my Twitter account, which had 5, 10 million followers. And I asked them to reshare that to make it the most shared picture ever. So imagine if you have 10 million people that might see your tweet and they reshare it, and each one of them might have 2 followers, or they might have 500,000 followers. Imagine how much visibility you can get sometimes when something goes viral. And the most ridiculous things go viral. Usually it's news, except for if you take a selfie at the Grammys, I guess. But, Oscars, I'm sorry. It's an award show. I lose track of them. I just know I'm never invited. That's all I know. I'm still waiting for my invitation. This is exactly how that picture from the Hudson got shared around the world so fast. One guy took it. I don't think he had that many followers. He might have had 500 followers or 1,000 followers, which is not that many on Twitter. But all those, however many followers he had, they said, whoa, that's amazing. And they reshared it, and they reshared it, and they reshared it. And then what eventually happens, someone like CNN sees it and calls the guy. The guy got a CNN interview, I believe, within a couple of hours after he took that picture and shared it on Twitter because of social media resharing and something going viral. Yeah, viral is just a term to indicate something was shared a lot of times. Again, right here, I had something else I shared out 13 hours ago about Valentine's Day. Bobby Chilzak reshared it to his or her friends.
What blog space do you use?
What?
What blog do you use?
I'm a WordPress guy.
Okay.
I like WordPress. I live and die by WordPress. Let's see, what else happened here? I got a little punchy yesterday. I said not giving a damn was a great feeling. Someone liked it. I must have been in a good mood last night or a bad mood, one of the two. I don't know which one it was. This person, again, shared some of my stuff. This was after I shared that not giving a damn was a great feeling. My friend Sherry Guys shared me a picture of a honey badger, which is, have you ever seen the honey badger video? There's a really funny video going around the internet about a honey badger not giving a heck what goes on in the world. So she shared that back, and I replied, "You complete me," and she favorited that. So we're kind of having like a little chat conversation back and forth. I like to follow Sherry Guys, my journey, because she is the marketing manager for Good Egg Dining, who has Cheevers, who has Red Prime Steakhouse, who has, I can't think of all the places they have, but Good Egg Dining has like 5 or 6 different, Kitchen 324 downtown. And so a lot of times she'll share pictures of food and coffee from those different places. So she's a close friend of mine, plus she's a foodie, and I like food, I have to admit. And really quickly, let's see what else goes on here. So someone was tagging me. This is a realtor. Someone was sharing that podcast again, more followers. You can just kind of see going back what my timeline goes on here. This is a realtor friend of mine in Edmond. He is big on social media, shares a lot of pictures and a lot of videos. Does it all for free, and I know it helps his business. His name is Ryan Huckel. If you're in the real estate business, social media is a godsend for you. Again, another blog post I wrote a long time ago that someone shared. And again, on March 18th, I got 6 new followers that day. So after I get a follower or 2 every day, or 5 or 6 followers, or 20 followers, eventually I get up to the number of followers I have right now, which is somewhere over 20,000. Because people see that number, they're like, oh my goodness, what do you do that's so awesome? I don't know. I really don't know. A lot of classes, a lot of TV, a lot of just babbling, I guess. But as a business, what you can encourage people to do is, after you create your Twitter account, encourage people to follow you so you can share updates about what's going on in your business. Since you can't share a lot of text on social media is good, a lot of text on Twitter. Twitter is really good for pushing people someplace else. And I believe I covered this also the first hour, is that one of the reasons I like Twitter is because you can push people someplace else. You can share links to pictures, you can share links to videos. If you'll notice, if you were to go back over my Twitter timeline, most of my Twitter updates have a link that say basically go here. Go watch this video. Go read this blog post. Go over here to this other place that I have more control, and I can have your entire attention without seeing all of the other Twitter updates and this background and all this other stuff. This automation I have right here that shares these out, she was asking me what blog software I use. I use something called WordPress. WordPress has a plugin I use called Tweet Old Post. And what Tweet Old Post does is wake up every 6 hours, pick a random blog post from my 5, 6, 7 years of blogging, and reshares it out. So I'm getting constant mileage out of my old blog posts. And to tell you the truth, my content life cycle is, I like to make a lot of videos. On my desk I have like a little miniature tripod and a video camera, and I also have my phone. And sometimes I'll just fire up that video camera, talk about some obscure topic, put that video over on my blog, publish it on my blog, and then you know what? That's getting shared out by my blog every now and then on my Twitter account. Now, if you're a business, because I am personal in my business, there's no difference here between me. My personal life and my business life are one and the same. As a business, you can do the same thing. I worked recently with a commercial flooring company, and I went to their website and I said, you've got the basics of a website, but we should use social media more to show how you do commercial flooring. Talk about the history of the company. Do a video or an employee profile on each person. Put that on the website and share that out on Twitter and Facebook. When you're actually out on some job sites, take some video, even with your mobile phone, of how you install flooring, how you prep the floor. That was a big thing for them. One of their differentiating factors was how they prep a floor. So when they come in and strip off the carpet and strip off the glue and prepare the borders and all that stuff, and they make sure the moisture content's right and they fill the cracks, they were talking about all this stuff that they do to make sure that floor is in great shape before they lay any wood on it or they lay any carpet on it. They do a lot of prep work. I said, we need to be documenting all that prep work and showing that on social media. And they are a B2B business. They primarily do commercial flooring. That's what they do. They'll go in and recarpet the entire floor in Devon or something like that. So if you're a B2B business and you're talking about construction earlier, it's just really good to show how you do things and what makes you different. And it can help a lot with the pre-sale. It can make it so someone at some point in time, this is the best kind of business, someone just wants to come in and know the price. They already know they want to use you. That question's been answered. That happens a lot with my speaking engagements. Patrick, we know you want to use you. What's the price? What's the price? Because if I'm not going to do it now, I'm going to budget for you and I'm going to use you in 3 months. So I know it's going to be a little bit of a challenge in commercial construction, but I bet you if we sat down, we could find some commercial construction companies doing some stuff on probably LinkedIn, contacting people, but doing videos. Here's one that came to head, drilling companies. I don't even know what category they would be in. Maybe B2B, B2O, business to oil. I don't know what it is. I just made that up. I see drilling companies taking video on drilling rigs, talking about safety, talking about how drilling works, talking about the different kind of drill bits they use and what they mean, just general information, and sharing it out there for free. And I had a drilling contract, a software development contract a while back. I went in there and I just followed different drilling companies. I learned a ton about the world of drilling. Something else you can use it for is talking about how you do things good. You can also maybe talk to, obviously not name competitors, but talk about how to look for things being done less than good. You know what? Sometimes our competitors or sometimes people in the industry do this thing and they take this shortcut. Well, the shortcut may seem cheap right now, but in 10 years down the line, this is where it's going to cost you. We don't take that shortcut. We invest the money right now to make sure that the drywall things are put together perfectly and they're perfectly lined up, and we let it dry a day longer than everybody else, because in 10 years, if you don't do that, that's going to crack. And I'm just coming up with these examples off the top of my head. I hate drywall work. I'm horrible at it. But hopefully I'm giving you some ideas here as to how you can differentiate your construction business. Any questions at all here about how Twitter works? You can customize a little bit. I'll put some different motivational stuff behind mine sometimes. It repeats left to right, top to bottom. I can control the image top. But really, my big kick on Twitter is to push somebody to someplace else. There's one more thing I want to talk about also. Yes?
Can you explain the function of a hashtag?
The function of the hashtag, she is talking about over here on the left-hand side, the things that begin with the pound sign. Hashtags. A while back on Twitter, someone decided, somebody smarter than me, which is not hard to find, that this entire stream of stuff over here is just a plethora of conversations about everything. Politics, religion, Super Bowl, babies, food. It's all in one big, giant, continuous stream. And this has always been one of my frustrations with Twitter also. I can't separate my thoughts and my conversations and my groups of friends here. So someone came up with the idea of, let's put a pound sign in front of the topic, and that way I can see things and I can talk about things that are only about that topic. So it's a way of grouping conversations, a very informal way of grouping conversations. So what you'll notice, one of the things you can do is you can click on a hashtag, and a hashtag will take you to all of the things that are being talked about for that topic. Bless you. I have no idea what Budget 2014 is about, but people are sharing pictures about it, and wine. I have no idea what wine has to do and mixed drinks with budgeting. Oh, okay, alcohol. Okay, so someone's talking about it over here. But if I was to come down over here, so something was going on today in the world where someone's talking about a budget someplace, and they decided to apply a hashtag to it. Scotland. Let me see if we can figure this out here. Okay. I have to dig this a little bit deeper, but there's something going on. My guess is I see UK, I see Scotland. My guess is probably someplace, one of the European countries is in Parliament, or they're talking about budgeting or something like that, and they said to join this conversation, tweet us at #budget 2014. It's just a way of grouping the conversation is what it is. You'll see this a lot of times on TV now or in commercials. KFC has they invented a pound sign, a hashtag called DoYouKFC. And I think that's what it's called. And it's even like on the side of the bucket. We got KFC the night, and their hashtag was on the side of the big KFC bucket. So if I wanted to see everyone talking about KFC, I could go do that. I don't talk about KFC on Twitter. I would never do that. But if I wanted to, I could. So hashtags are extremely popular, but they're just a way of grouping a discussion. That's really all they are. Sometimes you'll talk to some social media people, and they'll make it seem really complicated. This stuff is, especially on Twitter, is extremely simple. Another feature of Twitter that I like to use, and almost all social media accounts have this, is lists. This is something else that came along later after people realized that there was so much stuff going by on Twitter that there was no way to group it. You can create a list of things you want to follow and pay attention to. And someone was asking earlier, how do I follow 16,000 people? I don't. I have a list called VIP, and those are my friends, family, and my daughter, and important competitors, and I pay attention to those people only. So what I can do is either using Twitter or other tools, I can put people on a list and just watch that list. give you an idea of what I did for lists, national editors, I'm actually paying attention to what Forbes and CNN and some other national magazines are saying because I want to become friends with those editors to get some things published nationally. So I created a list called National Editors, and I put a bunch of people in there that I knew work at those magazines. Speakers, I want more speaking gigs, so I went and I found all the Twitter accounts for a bunch of speakers bureaus I want to work for. I put them in that list. VIP, down here in VIP2, those are people that I follow that either close friends or family or just people I want to pay attention to, or competitors. Web developers, competitors, fellow speakers, competitors, people in Oklahoma, which is good to follow if there's some major event in Oklahoma, tornadoes, weather, things like that. I'll pay attention to that list right there. Same thing with Tulsa, OKC Press, KFOR, KWTV, KSBI, things like that, the Oklahoman. And so some of these are kind of self-defining. The ones with the lock next to them are private, and nobody knows those exist. So if you wanted to, you could come here and you could follow my speaker staff bureaus one or my web developers design list. But for the most part, I keep my list private because not only do I not want, I don't care if you know I'm following you, I may not want my competitor to know that I'm following or paying attention to a particular group of people. Like let's say I have one up here called strictly competitors. And I put all of who I think are my competitors in there. If I am one of your competitors, I could go browse your competitor's public list and see who you're paying attention to. It's just kind of revealing information that doesn't need to be revealed. So I tend to, as you can see with a little lock around mine, I tend to make most of mine private. So even though I follow you, technically, I may not be paying attention to you on social media. Does that make sense? Okay? And you, by the way, you can do lists on Facebook also. You can set up lists of people so you don't have to browse your main wall. So you can browse just the family members or just the competitors or just the people within 10 square miles. Any questions about Twitter? Twitter lists, hashtags, what to tweet, why to tweet? As you can see, I got kind of specific there for a while with my Oklahoma stuff. I was adding people to everyone that's in the state. Then I started separating it by the city and by Tulsa. Now, I have no idea why for some reason, I think that there's more people in OKC than there are in the actual state of Oklahoma. Anyone catch that? Mm-hmm. I just was getting list happy one day and I added more people there. Because obviously all those people should be in that list, and if they're not, there's something going on. We had a really big tornado. So I think I covered everything over here on the side. Oh, goodness gracious. How did I do that? I have to admit. Oh, cool. I don't know, I could switch screens. Good stuff on there. One more screen I want to cover real quick is this one right here called Discover. If you want to spend some time on Twitter seeing what people are talking about, a lot of the stuff here is the promoted stuff or the stuff that's really popular right now. And the first thing that comes to mind is this little guy, Canadian we all love, Justin Bieber. I know there's tons of Justin Bieber fans in the audience, right? Yeah? No? No? Okay. Yeah. People like this, whenever they say anything, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Ellen, CNN, anything they say gets really popular really fast. Especially when CNN has breaking news that's truly breaking news, which is very rare anymore. But anytime Bieber says something, you know, it's extremely popular. Let's see, just out of morbid curiosity, how many followers does this guy have today? Oh, 50.4 million. That is a word I would use for it, yes. But it's all relative. I have people all the time that think my 23,000 followers is huge. It's all relative, and to me, it doesn't really, I guess it does make a difference. I don't just pay attention to it too much. This is marketing gold right here. For as much as we don't like the guy, this is marketing gold right here. This means this guy can say anything, and there's going to be a large number of people that see it. Even if it's 13%, like that Facebook number we used earlier, 13% of 50 million is not too shabby. He could say, buy these tennis shoes right now, and there would be people that would buy them. So when you are thinking about using social media, I talked about putting the stickers on the window. You always want to be pushing out people to follow you on social media also, and you see that on websites all the time. You see, follow us here on Foursquare, on Twitter, on Facebook, on whatever. That's how you build up those followers. People ask me all the time, how did I get to 23 followers? That stuff's on my website. It's on my marketing. Sometimes, depending on the email account I'm sending from, it says follow me on Twitter in the footer of my email account. I've done enough speaking engagements, and I'm on TV. It's just a follower here, a follower there. Pretty soon you have a ton of followers. Everyone starts with one, though. Everyone starts with the same number of followers. And again, the number is cool. It's just, I just don't try to pay attention to it too much because it doesn't mean a ton to me. Let me see, who is the most followed person on Twitter? For a while there, it was Lady Gaga. I think Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber were having we're kind of competing. So I'm just kind of curious, on any given day, only 41 million followers. So you can tell she's nowhere near as much of a geek as I am. She's got 41 million followers, but she's only tweeted something 4,000 times. I've got 23,000 followers, and I've done it 63,000 times. You can definitely tell I'm using some automation. So, yeah, and it's really interesting. Every now and then you'll see someone that also, we're getting a little bit starstruck here, but someone that has millions and millions of followers and they follow one person. Something else that's also interesting is I can put someone on a list and not follow them. If I want to pay attention to what someone says, but I don't want them to technically know I'm following them, I can do that. I can put you on a list and watch my list and see what you say, but you would go look and you'd say, I'm not following you technically. So, I don't want to spend too much more time on Twitter. That's pretty much it. Any questions before we move on to something else about Twitter? Anyone here a big Twitter user? Yes? No? So? How often do you use it?
Oh, I try to schedule things so that they go out at least once a week. And what I generally use it for is I will take a link from either our web page or our Facebook page and embed it in there and give people a reason to go to that link. Like, check out our newest tenant at this page and put the link in there so they just click the link and go.
Gotcha. Can you tell, does that drive traffic to that location? That website?
It does on Facebook for sure.
Okay.
I can tell because it's easy to do analytics on Facebook. On
Right.
the webpage, I don't know because it's the school's webpage and I can't get in there analytically
Oh.
to see what's going on.
Got it. She's talking about analytics. Let's touch on that briefly. One of the things I like to do in analytics, when you have control of your website, because remember I said your own website's really important, I like to put analytics on my website early on, which gives me tons of measurements about what's going on my website. One of the measurements it gives me is where is my traffic coming from? So if we have time at the end, I will sign into analytics for one of my websites and I'll show you, here's all my traffic from Twitter, from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from YouTube. So you can measure, I can measure how many people are clicking on this stuff I'm sharing and reading it. I can measure by day, I can measure by week, I can measure over the years I can measure it. It makes a difference, it really does. My two biggest traffic sources are Facebook and just people organically searching me in Google. I think the organic searches is first, and then Facebook is right after that. Then all the other social media sites kind of fall underneath that. There's a drastic drop-off. But I like to set people up with a website, put analytics on it, and then we work on the email list and the social media. That's pretty much my life cycle right there. Yes?
I had a quick question for you. When you're talking about the Google searches, it'll go to all these other kinds of websites that may have information about your business that's not correct.
Right?
How often does that play into what happens with the business?
Okay, so you're talking like maybe like a review website?
Like Manta or Yelp
Okay.
or something like that, where they'll sort of put in information about your company, but it's all based on conjecture and it's not necessarily what's the actual truth.
You mean it's not, and people don't tell the truth on the internet all the time? I thought it couldn't be on the internet if it wasn't true, right? That's what the commercial says. Okay, so she's asking if incorrect information is basically out there about you on the internet someplace, on a website that you don't control, that's the big one right there, how do you get that information off? I don't have a good answer because it depends on the website. A lot of the good reputable websites, if it's blatantly obvious information that's bad, you can work with them and ask them to take it off nicely. You know, if someone does a review of your business on Yelp and they do personal attacks about the employees, calling them various vulgar names, that's not a review of the business. They'll probably take that off. However, if it's a genuine review that you just don't like, they probably won't take that off. What you can do, though, another big reason for social media, is if you put enough good stuff out there about yourself, it pushes the bad stuff down. That's called reputation management on the internet. Hopefully, just out of curiosity, when everyone heard who the instructor was here, me, Patrick Allman, did anyone go Google my name? Nobody?
Well, I sent a link to your YouTube
Okay.
with notes.
Gotcha. Okay. Oftentimes when I conduct a class on this or on something else, people will go search for me. I go search for speakers all the time. I'm going to be spending 4 hours with this guy. I'd like to know something about him. The stuff that tends to come up on me in the first couple of pages is pretty good. And stuff on me on the internet, there's really no reason. I don't have a prison record. I don't have anything terribly negative about me I've ever seen on the internet. However, if I did, it wouldn't last too often on the front page or the second page, because I'm constantly putting out stuff either via social media or via my own website to push that negative stuff down. When people search for things on a search engine, they rarely go past the second page. So all you have to do is control that first and second page, and you're probably pretty safe. You know, you start putting out YouTube videos, blog posts, constantly generating new content that has your business name in it, you're pushing down the negative stuff. Google likes relevancy and recency. Stuff that's more recent on a search engine will appear higher in the search results than the older stuff. And there are companies out there called reputation management companies that you pay them and that's all they do. They come up with good things to say about your company, pushing down the bad things. Some of the bad things are outright wrong.
I was thinking more like addresses or contact information.
Oh, a lot of those, okay, I'm sorry. We went off like
I mean, what you're saying is good too.
Right.
It's just-
The contact information and the other information, a lot of times you can register with that site and say, that record is mine, I want to update it. Because they will import from, like, you said, was it Manta?
Manta.
Yeah. Manta, I think, for example, will import from some master business directory they'll get someplace, and they may get a business address that's old. I'm not going to say I lost. I had a contract payment to me go to one of my old addresses, and I'm still waiting for a payment because they got my address off the internet someplace that was wrong. So I had to send them a stop payment thing and get that whole thing going on. Usually with those sites, though, you can log in and change it yourself. You can claim it is what you can do. And then what you can do is you just save all those logins someplace, and when your phone number changes or your address changes, you got to remember, oh, I got to go to manta.com and log in. I got to go to this. I got to go to this log in. But you can go and you can say, if Manta imports some information about your business and nobody claims it, there's usually a button on there that says, oh, is this your business? Click here to claim it. And then you can get control over that. They actually want you to do that.
Right. Well, and I did do that, and now they're asking to verify, but I'm not sure what the verification thing is.
The verification is usually when you change the physical address, they want to send something to that physical address to verify that you are really the business owner. Google has a service called Google Places, or like Google Local, where you can search for things and they show up in the local search results. When you go and add something to Google Places, Google usually mails you a postcard with a PIN code on it. And when you get that postcard, the postcard says, visit this website, punch in this PIN code to verify that you're the site owner. So as electronic as we're going, the only true verification is still mail something to that address and verify that person actually gets it. So there are tons of business directory sites like that where you have to verify your stuff. I've had to go through that before. Sometimes the verification is electronic. Like you can put in an email address and they'll send something to that email address and they'll verify it. But like I know with Google Places, it was an actual postcard that came to it. I actually had to go to a Google map and say, I'm here, and they mailed an address, they mailed a postcard to that actual address. So, but search for yourself on business, search for yourself on Google, search for your business on Google. And I'm not sure if I cover this later or not, but set up what's called a Google alert on your name and on your business also. And I believe that's at google.com/alerts. And you can set up certain phrases you want to get an email for when Google finds them. And those are also, social media is also search for those. So if you set up a Google alert for your business and someone mentions it on Twitter, you'll get an email and you can go see what it was about. Was it a good review? Was it a bad review? I have Google alerts set up on my business name, on my personal name, on my wife's name, on my daughter's name. So whenever anyone mentions anything about me on the internet, I know about it. For a while, my daughter was going to OU, and she wrote for the OU Daily down there. Is that the newspaper down there? And it would be cool because every time she wrote an article and published it in the OU Daily, I'd get an email. I would know before she would when it was published in the online newspaper. So, but that's also good for figuring out when people are mentioning you on social media. Set up a Google alert for your business name, for any kind of combination of abbreviations of your business name. And that way, when someone tweets about you, Facebook's about you, YouTube's about you, you will know. Questions about Twitter? Going once? Going twice? That's it? Okay. Let's move on to Facebook. Okay. I'm going to actually give a confession here. They just changed the Facebook layout this week. Okay? So, if I appear like a little bit lost, it's because on Sunday it was over here, and on Wednesday it's down over here, okay? I kid you not, I logged into Facebook. My Facebook account got changed maybe Tuesday morning, because they kind of roll it out to different people. So forgive me if I don't know exactly where something is, but the basic concepts are still the same. Facebook has a very large limit where it comes to the updates, but you know how I said you have all those text messages for Twitter right in the middle? On Facebook, this is your Facebook wall nowadays, and usually on one side you're going to have the fan pages you follow. Sorry about that, people are just putting stuff out on Facebook. The fan pages you follow, the groups you follow over here, your stuff at the top, and then a lot of stuff that's trending and advertisements over here. It used to be, like I said, when Facebook came out and they had tons of money and they didn't have to make any money, they didn't have to worry about ads. Now they have to worry about ads. But you, because we're thinking about this from a business perspective, not from a personal perspective, you guys can buy these ads and push people to your website and to your fan page. Are they expensive? No, they're not expensive. And if you can get these out and you can get a good return on your money, they are well worth it. It's possible to buy space over here sometimes for 25 cents or 50 cents per click. And you know, if you sell a product that has a $20 profit, you will gladly spend 50 cents on a $20 profit. I'm not going to do the math in my head, but that's a pretty good return on 50 cents. I wish I could spend 50 cents all the time and make $20 profit off of it. So I don't want to get into the whole concept of how to do sponsored ads, but you can do a lot of advertising over here, and you can target over here also. And you want to know how you can target? Think about some of the things you filled out in your Facebook profile. Your age, your sex, your marital status, your religion, the college you went to. Think about all that stuff you filled out on Facebook when you signed up. Facebook then gives that to the businesses and say, hey, you can target people by this stuff. If you're a retail organization that sells men's shoes, that's the example I love to use, you can target all men who have a college degree between the ages of 30 and 65 and push advertising to them over here. So those darn female teens aren't seeing your size 13 men's shoes over here. Now, you can't target by shoe size, but hey, it's the internet, let's give them time, right? They will know my shoe size someday. Okay, fan pages over here on the left.
Patrick, will you be able to kind of go over just a little bit or show us, you know, when you have a personal account and then you use that to make your business account, where you go in to start that up, or what are the best practices for starting your business account logged off your personal?
Yes. Good question. And by the way, just to make sure there's a difference, the business, the personal thing you log into is called a profile. Okay? The business is a fan page. The personal account is a profile. Facebook likes you to create profiles as an individual somebody with a 10 fingers, 10 toes, and a heartbeat. And then underneath that, you can manage multiple pages. Pages for your business, pages for a school, pages for your crab cake, pages for whatever you want to do. A single profile can manage multiple pages. When Facebook, and you still see this sometimes, but when people started really using Facebook for marketing, people would be creating profiles in the name of their business. So this guy right here, who runs this website, is named Greg Welchel. He took a social media class from me here at Francis Tuttle. He actually created a login at some point in time, and his first name was Trichology, and his last name was Salon. So we had to get him to, go create the Greg account, and then put this under the control of the Greg account. But whenever you reference those two things, just to keep things clear in your head, and when you're looking through the Facebook help, what you log on to with your user ID and password as a person is called a profile, and what you manage and push out your business updates to is called a page. Okay? Profile page, profile page, profile page. A lot of people say, I log into my Facebook page. You don't log into a page. You log into a profile to go update your page. So, this is a page of Trichology Salon. Anyone ever heard of them? They are a salon, obviously, up on May, just north of Memorial. You know where the Barnes & Noble is? On the east side of Memorial? Where you have like a barbecue place and a couple of strip malls up on the west side of Memorial? Trichology is up there. Very contemporary salon run by, like I said, a friend of mine named Greg. This is his fan page, and we're going to cover some of the features of a fan page today. Picture, profile picture, banner picture over here. Pretty cool stuff. All he did was just take pictures of the sinks, the places where you get your hair washed. Forgive me if I don't know my way around a salon. Do I look like the kind of guy that goes to a salon a lot? No. But I do go there every now and then. I'll tell you why later. So he just takes various pictures up there, and they have Trichology coffee cups. I drink coffee there all the time. One of the things that's really cool about this, if I was somebody shopping for a place to get my hair done, they would recommend it to me. I love the fact that right away, he's got 4.5 stars. Social proof right there and credibility. We were talking about know, like, trust, try, buy, repeat, refer. I instantly have trust. I have no idea why there's 4.5 stars, but I probably know if that was recommended to me, I'm probably going to go there. That is worth more than all of the TV advertising and Yellow Pages advertising he can do. And this was free to create right here, by the way. Basic information about the location. It's kind of cool. You put in your actual hours. And what's cool is this changes after hours. So like if I was to come here at like 8:30, that wouldn't actually say that. That would say, well, we're closed right now. So Facebook just kind of changes that dynamically based on what the hours are. How many people have liked the page? Photos he shared on the page, and this is why I was there recently. He recently started doing straight edge shaves for us guys, straight blade shaving. And they needed models there to practice on. Yeah, it's kind of a, no pun intended, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Hey, you get a free shave. Hey, they're students. Hey, they're putting a knife right next to, major veins in your neck. Hopefully none of them have allergies and they're sneezing while they're doing this. But that's why I was there recently, is I let one of their students, and might have been that, there's Greg right there. This is the guy that came in from Europe. Is that actually, okay, that's not actually me. But Greg is really big about sharing pictures about what goes on there in the business. And okay, so my picture's not up here someplace. But yeah, so he was offering free models. And if he needs something up there free, I'll go up there every now and then and do stuff. He likes to share a lot of pictures. So he's on Pinterest also.
I have a question about
Yep.
the price.
Yes.
Like, do businesses, like the $4 signs,
Mhm.
like, do they set the price, or how is that set?
Yeah, you set the price inside. Whoever controls this page sets the price. And it's just kind of like a rating about price, really inexpensive to really expensive kind of thing. He tends to be towards the upper end of the scale, kind of like a boutique type salon. So, but you do control it over as a business. You do control that. Okay. So other information here. 56 friends like this. 56 of my friends. Remember, I'm the one logged in here right now. 56 of my friends like Trichology. 15 of my friends have checked in here. Fan pages have check-in functionality just like Foursquare does. You can check in to a fan, you can check into this business on Facebook. It's my wife, that's a friend of mine named Heather. That's someone's cat. I don't have any idea. That's Melina Lott. And what I can do, talking about the whole social proof thing, is I can invite more friends and tell them to go like Greg also. This person's in Texas, this person's in Europe, this person's in England. I probably wouldn't tell them to go like Trichology because they would never go. And then we get down to all the updates that Greg is sharing. Looks like he hasn't done an update for a little while, but on March 16th, he was taking pictures and sharing them out. I believe that that lady right there is the one that gave me, oh, I'm discovering more stuff all the time. Look at that. I can scroll up and down. I believe that lady right there is the one that did my straight edge shave. That's Greg, the owner right there. But he gets a lot of business from social media. Greg took a social media class from me over in what used to be the old B&I building maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And that's how I actually met Greg. He stayed friends with me after the class, kept calling me, asking me for more information and more help. And I worked with him. And he is now extremely popular on social media. And I see people referring business to him all the time via social media. Yes, it is mostly women, but there are plenty of guys in there also. You got to love this right here. He gets recommendations here all the time. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. Cool stuff right there. Posting on his stuff for him. He's doing a giveaway right there for March, giving away hair supply chemicals, which I would never use. So anything I ever win there goes to my wife and my daughter. Looks like, probably as a result of social media, News OK came out and did a story on him. He gets to be in the press every now and then. I bet you I probably saw this ad right here. When was this? This was March 5th. I probably saw this one right here, and that's what made me go out there. I called Greg, or I texted him. I said, I'll do it. Got a free shave out of it. I have to admit I was a little bit apprehensive because this was a student, but if I'm standing here right now, it went pretty good. So, and again, he just puts various updates out here about new products that are coming out. He does a lot of salon remodeling. He used to do makeup at some point in time. Greg also does a lot of social events at the salon. Like he'll do fundraisers, like after hours sometimes. He'll close down, he'll say, we're not cutting hair anymore, but let's have like wine and cheese and cupcakes after hours. And he raises money. He does art shows in there. And those, the sinks I was telling you about where you're leaning your hair back and get the shampoo and everything? He disinfects those and he fills those with ice. During after hours events, that's where the ice for all the drinks is. And he'll stick all the soda in there. So you're like, I just got my hair washed in that thing. It's okay, we cleaned it out first. So it's just interesting creative stuff that he did there. I apologize for this. I'm getting updates in the middle of all this. And so this is just what a fan page is like, is you're just putting out updates about your business, sharing pictures, sharing videos, talking about possibly how you do something different, how you do something better, taking pictures of construction, taking pictures of products. Greg's really gotten this down to where he just shares pictures of what's going on there, and it's also helping drive business other places. For example, Greg is successful enough now that he's actually opening up a salon school, like a hairdresser school, just north of the salon. So he's going to have a Trichology salon and then a school where he will train people. So hopefully some of the stylists here will go up to the school, and some of the people that graduate the school will come down here. He's doing very well with social media.
Now you said you can track who's following you on these fan pages?
Right. For example, way here at the top, Greg's under the control of this, and right here at the top, there's 2,335 people that are paying attention to his.
But you don't know who they are.
No, I don't know who they are. Greg would know who they are because he controls this page. I don't control this page. Talk to it again. Yeah, but I have some pages that I control that I can go see who the fans are for those pages. Okay? Right here on these tabs, you can customize this a little bit. And he has chosen to put a link over to his Pinterest account here. We talked about using social media to push people to other social media sites. So I should be able to click on this right here. Come here. I want to open up in a new tab. I don't want to leave Facebook.
Try to do it on the picture itself.
Yeah.
Are you right-clicking or left-clicking?
Right clicking. No, left click to click on it. What I didn't want to do is I didn't want to leave Facebook. That's what I wanted to open up in a new tab. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so it looks like what he did here is Facebook and Pinterest are sharing information. This is actually what's called a Facebook app. And he's able to, all that stuff he pins over on Pinterest, it looks like it's right here available on Facebook also. A lot of social media is used to get other stuff from other social media sites and do a lot of cross-sharing. So he has stuff on products they love, hair and beauty, weddings and bridal. Every now and then it's cool because he'll do like a fashion show also. Yep. I have to admit, I'm not much of a salon kind of guy, but if you are, fashion, hair we do. I've checked, he doesn't do my kind of hair, unfortunately. Does anyone here go to a particular salon and we can look up their page? No one? Anyone here follow and pay attention to a particular fan page that we can talk about? Who's?
A way to move if you set up a profile page and you should have set up a fan page, is there a way to change it?
I believe there is. I don't know how to do it off the top of my head, but enough people have done that I believe Facebook, back in the documentation, has instructions on how to do that.
Go to Green Okie, that's a great fan page, it's very visual.
Green Okie like that.
Wait, hold on, go back one.
Pen?
That's it, yeah, right.
Okay. So let's see what Green Okie's doing. So they do deck and patio work, it looks like. Pretty good rating. 4 stars out of 82. Almost 4,000 people like it. 186 talking about this. Just means between comments and likes and shares. I believe that's the number of people who have interacted with the page over like the last 30 days. There's no precise formula in Facebook that Facebook ever shares with anyone that determines how to figure out that number. But I believe it's the likes, shares, and comments over the past 30 days. Again, almost 4,000 followers. I don't like it. That's why there's a like button right here. I've got 20 friends that like it, though. So I would instantly trust them more than any place I pick up in the Yellow Pages and trust right off the bat. 10 hours ago, they posted some deck pictures, so that would have been midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning. So they were up late doing stuff. Great reviews right here, all 5 stars. You got to love that. You can't pay for that kind of advertising right there. And they're just having conversations with prospects and things right here. You can tell they have I'm pretty sure, it looks to me like they have a pretty active, well, it depends. As soon as I saw this 49 right here, I'm sorry for going up and down. That's a pretty high number to get a number of likes on a photo or a photo album. But I came down here and I saw 2, 3, but then it went back up to 15, 11. So they get some decent interaction. 27, that's pretty good. But this is also pretty good because people come here and they ask questions. Prospects come here and they can ask questions of the business and not have to pick up the phone. All of us like interacting differently with businesses. I am the kind of person, if I want to know more information about a deck, I will pick up the phone and I will call. My wife doesn't like picking up the phone. My wife will go to their website, email them. She'll look on their Twitter account. She'll look on their Facebook account. She'll spend an hour doing all that before she will pick up the phone and call. I can pick up the phone and call and say, do you do this? Yes, thanks, goodbye. But just different forms of communication. This also comes in handy. Let's say, for example, if you want to ask them a question, but you're not in a position to ask them a question. Let's say, for example, you might be at work. Now, what are you doing on Facebook at work anyways? But you can also ask this from your phone, because there are so many people on social media that are using mobile devices. Anyone else have a fan page that we should take a look at? No? Francis Tuttle has a pretty good fan page. They're very active on there. A lot of students are connected to that. But as a business owner, once you're logged into your profile, you can manage your fan pages, and you have a slightly different view. So I'm going to go to a fan page that I have called, let's see. Here we go. This is one of the fan pages that I have control over, I believe. No, I take that back. Let's go pick. I know you think, hey, Patrick, don't you know which fan pages you control? Okay, here's kind of a hobby fan page I have. And when you go to a page that you control, your view is a little bit different. Over here is a list of messages, kind of like emails, where people can message the business, interact with them. So people can ask product questions, pricing questions, things like that. Right here is a little bit, just a little bit, of analytic information about each post. Primarily, total reach, when you shared that thing, potentially, not actually, potentially how many people did it reach? So how many people probably saw that in their Facebook timeline? I only use these numbers kind of more like a relative thing rather than an absolute thing. I do not believe that that top one up there that says not giving a damn is a great feeling. I do not actually believe that I hit 69 people's eyeballs on that one. My guess is just that was pushed to that many people, and they may or may not have seen it in their timeline of all that junk going by on Facebook. The update before that got a little bit more traction. This one right here got a lot of traction, and these ones here, not so much. Remember, I told you, it's getting harder and harder to be seen on Facebook in the world of free. So what does Facebook want me to do? Pay. Boost. Boosting is paying for Facebook marketing. So you know what? I click on that now, and it tells me, we'll do this for you if you give us this amount of money. So by default, it's saying, you know what, spend $30, and we estimate that we will jack it up to that many people. Somewhere between 4,000 and 11,000 people. Do not ask me how they came up with these numbers. I don't know. Facebook is magic. I don't question the magic. So I can very easily say boost post, spend $30, and they're off and running. Or I could come in here and do a little bit more targeting, which is probably the way I should do it. I believe the only kind of marketing in the world that should be done is targeted marketing. That's just a philosophy of mine. You don't ever just market to the entire world. Whenever I talk to a business owner and they say, who's the market for your product? And they say everybody, I'm like, nope. Nope, 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 nope. That's not true. But look how easy they made it. One click right here, I spent $30. It's gone. But I can spend $5 or I can spend $100. And again, I'm pay to play. Pay a little bit less, I reach less. Pay a little bit more, I reach all kinds of people.
Do you know for sure that it reaches that many people?
I know for sure that Facebook tells me it reaches that many people. I don't know that it reaches that people. Does the reach increase as opposed to the regular organic share that I did? That's a yes. I know more people will see it. I don't know exactly who will see it. And I don't know exactly how many people will see it. This is how Facebook determines reach. The 4 of you in the front row like my fan page. I share an update. Here's the cool lasagna I had for lunch. Facebook pushes it out to all 4 of you. And Facebook would say, Patrick, your reach on that post was 4 people. But you may not have seen it. You may have scrolled right by it. There are various reasons to where even though it says my reach is 4 people, he may not have seen that particular update. And that's what I think about when I think about marketing advertising. I think about how many eyeballs did I hit. You know, when you send an email to somebody and it says that email was opened, it's very likely that person saw that email. When Facebook says your reach is this number, I can, okay, whatever, Facebook. I don't really trust it. I mean, they're telling me up here 69, if they push it to 69 people, that does not mean 69 people saw it. So the way I look at it is I look at them in terms of relative numbers. Relatively, I can tell between these 5 numbers right here how popular and how many people probably saw those things. More people saw that than any of the other ones, and you go down from 84, 83, 69, 36. A lot of that's controlled by what you share, where that has a picture attached, morning, afternoon, evening, midnight. I share something at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not going to have anywhere near the visibility that a 7 o'clock in the morning post is going to have. I have learned from my personal trial and error on this particular page, 6 to 8 is really good, catch people before they go to work, and 7 to 10 o'clock at night is really good. Catch people after they come home. But sometimes middle of the day is halfway decent because people are browsing Facebook on their lunch break. So that's another one of the questions I get all the time is what's the best time to post on Facebook? It depends. But generally, mornings before people leave, afternoons after people get back. Late night actually isn't too bad on Facebook. Surprisingly, weekends don't do pretty good. You think people will be spending a lot of time on Facebook on the weekends. From my personal experience, it's not great. It's okay. So again, you can boost posts here, and there's also another place on Facebook where you can go and pay money to have things jacked up or promoted. You can also right here pay money to promote your overall page. Right here, we're boosting individual. Gosh dang it, there it goes again. Where we go? There we go. Right. Oh, I'm clicking and stuff too, aren't I? Right here, we were boosting an individual post. Over here, we can boost the entire page. I can pay money. If I'm friends with Victoria, I can pay money and have it pushed to her friends to where it says, hey, Victoria likes this page that Patrick manages, why don't you like it too? So you can reach friends on Facebook and you can reach friends of friends also. I can also come into the advertising part of Facebook and I can do some targeting. I could put out targeted advertising to, what did we say, age, sex, college degree, sexual orientation, married, single, college they attended, location. You can target people that live in a certain location. I can't think of all the targeting criteria off the top of my head, but Facebook is also getting more advanced where you can target more things. And that's really important because a lot of times you don't want to target people just by their age, sex, location, and sexual orientation. There are a lot of times where we have different markets for that. Targeting someone by age, sex, and location is great for someone like Greg. He has mostly a female clientele in Northwest Oklahoma City and Edmond. That works great for him. That's not going to work great for a construction type business because people of all shapes, walks, and sexes and sexual orientations have big checkbook and want commercial buildings built. So your targeting may be a little bit differently, or we talked about your targeting may be on LinkedIn, for example. I have yet to figure out what you guys are going to build, but your targeting may be a little bit different also. It may be a dating app. If it's a dating software app like eharmony.com, your targeting is not going to be properly targeting any married people. Targeting only single people. Who's going to be targeting married people? Oh, Ashley Madison. Ashley Madison, yeah. There's a website for that. There's a website for everything, right? Over here on the right, invite friends. Because I am logged in as Patrick and managing a page, I can invite some of Patrick's friends to like this page also. So these are friends of mine in various places all over the world, and I can push them to come like this page, which is called Stop Doing Nothing. Okay, please ask questions. Don't wonder, ask. We'll get it answered.
Let's say with Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
you create a fan page,
Right?
and you invite people to like you, or you invite people to your fan page.
Right?
So if you know, for instance, I do
business or would like to do business with, XYZ company,
Mhm.
you can then invite XYZ company or companies to like you,
You would
or
probably
to come to your Facebook. How does that work?
you would probably invite the people at those XYZ companies to like you.
Okay.
Let's say you became friends with some of the CEOs of the companies that you want to do business with, and you have a fan page for the construction business. Because you're friends with them personally via your profile and you manage the page, you can invite them to go like the page if you were already friends with them first. Does that make
Can
sense?
you do the same thing with LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, the basic concept, yes. The terms like, follow, and pages may be different. But for example, over on Facebook, I know you can have a company entity, might be called a page. People can follow that company entity, and you manage that company entity, and you push things out to it like you push them out to a fan page. So I'm going to say the answer is yes. The terminology just may be different. Okay? What's amazing about all these social networks is a lot of them do the exact same thing. They just have it laid out in different places, and they use different terms. It's called a like here. It's called a follow on Twitter. They mean the exact same thing.
So then, once they have liked your page,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's
LinkedIn or Facebook, right?
once they have done that, then every time you post something, they get notified, so to speak, kind of, if they set it up that way.
Yes.
There is a way where if you drop down that liked button,
Uh-huh.
because I just liked Patrick's page,
Uh-oh.
but you have, the drop down menu lets you assign it to a category,
Right.
and then that tells you, you can choose how often you see it.
Right. Also, though, remember that there's just so much stuff flying around on social media, there's no guarantee of it happening. You can make it more.
I'm just trying to see, again, I'm trying to see how to make this relevant for
Right.
my use.
Right.
If I want to, let's just, I want to do business with Parsons.
Right.
Transportation. If they have, I don't know that they have a Facebook page, but they probably have a LinkedIn page.
Right.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have. Keep
They
talking.
might have a Facebook.
Keep talking. Let's go see if they do.
So,
It's Parsons College, you said?
Parsons Transportation.
Are they here in Oklahoma? Where are they?
They're headquartered in California. No.
Nope. Parson Car Service.
Tribe Corporation.
Nope, that's Newfoundland. That's not them. Okay, go ahead and ask your question, though. I'm not going to hold you up.
Okay, Parsons Brick and Try that one.
That's it?
That's one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So somebody at Parsons is on Facebook and they manage this page. Goodness gracious, sorry about that. Okay. I want to make sure we had a legitimate example up here.
okay. So if you if you invited that person to like you, then whatever you posted, you could somehow market, you could target them. In other words, you could target them as a marketing client, if you will. Can you do that with?
Can you target them individually via a fan page is what I think you're asking.
Right.
Can I say, I want my update of my image that I'm about to share, can I force him or her to see it?
Or at least, I mean, I know it may not land, he may not open it, he may not look at it.
Right.
Can I direct that to him so that name recognition?
Right.
Or he's seeing that, okay,
Mhm.
her company's doing this and
Right.
she's targeting.
Via the free side of Facebook, what I'm going to call the organic side, there's no way to guarantee that they're going to see it. I think what you said, though, is you put a disclaimer in there that says, there's no guarantee they're going to see it, but can you target them? As soon as they like your page, the answer is yes.
Okay.
So there is a very good chance of making them see it. Okay? Jumping over to the paid side a little bit, remember early on, I'm not sure you were here early on, I really pushed the need for each of you to be building an email list for your business. You can target the people in your email list and make certain Facebook content show up to them. That's one of the reasons that I advocate email lists. Let's say you had all the email addresses for a bunch of people at Parsons. Okay? You could go to Facebook, you could pay to play, and you could make sure that some of the advertising that you pay for, like over here, you can make sure that only they see it. Because you can, so that's the only way you can target individual people is by email address. And it's pretty inexpensive.
Can I just share a thought with you? It seems like through the class, I almost feel like you're looking for a compelling reason to utilize Facebook. If I could share a thought with you, what I would say to that is that if you could advertise to thousands of people for free, then why wouldn't you?
Because thousands of people may not be buying what I'm buying.
Right.
They just be spending time on Facebook, which is not good ROI, if you will.
Right.
I mean, I don't have time, I don't have a particular person, you know, who can,
Mm-hmm.
do this for me. So if I am going to do it, I have to make sure that it's effective and I'm not wasting my time.
Right. And that's a constant challenge even for someone like Greg also. And Victoria, what were you going to say?
Gina, if you like their page and you're getting feedback from them on your page all the time, you learn which personnel are working on which projects. And you're learning where their marketing activities are. You're learning if they're going to trade shows. So you're getting a lot of intelligence about that company for free.
And that's you
And
that's you following them also, which is different than you pushing out your content via social media. I will admit that from the get-go, I know that from your particular industry, it's a little bit of a challenge to see why you should use social media. And I said Twitter may not be a good thing for you. It may be the same thing for Facebook. I am not the kind of social media guy who says you have to be on Facebook. I would never say that. I would say go where your ROI is. I completely understand that there's metrics involved in business, and every time is money. Even if you don't pay to get a Facebook account, every minute you spend on there is $1 you're spending of your time in business, and it has to get a return on it. So I'm still a big fan of Facebook fan pages, and I think you should have one. But what she's saying, though, is in addition to you having a fan page, it wouldn't hurt for you to follow the fan pages of people like Parsons on social media. So maybe most of your time comes in not pushing, but pulling and watching stuff. Because as soon as Parsons says, wow, we're starting to look for locations to open up a new location in Atlanta, Georgia, you know you've got marketing work to do right there. So your value there doesn't come in from you pushing out, oh, look at how we did this drywall thing because Patrick said we've got to do that. Your value comes in the fact that you're keeping an eye on how people are expanding their business and how people are marketing and advertising. And you have a heads up on your competition if it's another construction firm that's wants to do work for Parsons also, because you were on Facebook that one day. They put out they were expanding to Atlanta, Georgia. They're looking for locations. Now you're early on in their purchasing process. You know you need to start your marketing now, well before they start putting out their RFPs. Does that make sense? Is that a good example right there? And to tell you the truth, the government does that also. There are plenty of government organizations that have social media sites. Just about every department in the world, from the White House on down, has a Facebook page. And a lot of times they'll put out there what they're doing with the RFP process and how they're expanding. And it gives you more insight than you can doing those cold calls all day long and trying to figure out what do you guys got coming up in second quarter of 14, things like that. So maybe a little bit of a challenge, and maybe one of those things we have to sit down with somebody and figure out, okay, I'm going to spend some time on here for a month, and if I don't get anything out of it, maybe I can spend some time on here, or maybe this one channel is the only thing I should be spending my time on because that's where I get the best ROI. If someone walked in right now said, Patrick, you have to pick one social media site forever and ever and ever and ever. Because I'm a talker, I personally would pick YouTube. Okay? Then if somebody said, Patrick, you get to pick two, I would say, okay, let's go with Facebook and YouTube. And then I would go on down to basically figure out where the ROI has been for me so far. And for me, the biggest ROI has been on YouTube. So you may determine at some point in time that there's only one social media site you should be on. It's Facebook, and you should ignore the rest. Everyone's a little bit different. You can't do a lot, though, I guarantee you. After about 2 or 3 websites, 2 or 3 social media sites, updating those several times a day, you run out of time very, very fast. So hopefully we're all giving you some ideas on this. What else did I want to cover on this? Anyway, any questions about fan pages? Facebook. I've touched a little bit on the paid side. If I were you, I would look in that a little bit more. We all, over the years, have thought about Facebook as being free, but there is a paid side to it, and if you do it right, it has a good ROI. Because you're not paying anywhere near as much for a commercial, anywhere near as much for a boost here as you are for a commercial on KFOR, but you spend $1, $5, $10 on something that pushes someone over to your website and causes them to purchase your product or service, it is well worth that. I boost stuff every now and then. What I usually boost is I boost stuff that's already really popular to make it even more popular. If I put an update out on my fan page and it got 20 likes and 5 shares, well, that's pretty popular. I want to escalate that. So that's the one that I would spend money on boosting right there. Not the one that barely anybody liked, the one that may be a little bit controversial that people liked, or an image of something I did, or me at a speaking engagement, something like that. That's the one that I want to boost. Would that be what, algebraic or geometric progression, whatever that is? I want to make that even more popular than it was already getting organically. Okay. Should we press on through, or you want to take like a quick 5-minute break? Break? You sure? Okay. He really wants a break. Let's take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll come back, finish off with YouTube.